There's many ways to unlock more power out of my 2016 Mercedes-Benz C300. One favorite mod by most tuners is to upgrade the downpipe. This right here is a high flow catted downpipe from my sponsors over at Tornado Tuning. If you want more information about this product, I'll leave it in the description below. So here it is. The cat is actually right here. And if you look inside, you can see the cells. It's a high flow cat, so there's less cells than an OEM cat. It's made of stainless steel and it looks really nice. Here's the bracket to mount it to the car. Here's the hole for the oxygen sensor. And of course it has all this heat shielding to protect the car. So just like the name states, it's a high flow catted downpipe. So it's still gonna pass emissions, but it's gonna allow exhaust gas to flow a lot quicker, meaning the turbo is gonna spool a lot quicker. It's gonna reduce turbo lag. It's gonna increase performance and responsiveness. And another great thing about this specific downpipe is that it works with the tolerances of the ECU, meaning after installing this, I don't really need to tune the car and there will be no check engine light. The install is actually pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna do it because all I have are jack stands and I don't wanna risk getting crushed underneath my car. So I'm gonna take this to a professional. So I'm here at 603 Mtech Autowerks here in Hooksett, New Hampshire. If you guys remember, my buddy Mike Perez owns this shop. He was the one that installed my intercooler on my C300, and he's also done a couple other things to my car as well. Yeah, Mike and his team are awesome. They're Mercedes-Benz specialists. Definitely go check out their website. Definitely go follow them on Instagram and Facebook. They push out a lot of awesome content. So there's the man. He's going to walk us through the process of upgrading the downpipe. Yeah. But before that, what's new, man? I haven't seen you in a while, so I know there's been some changes.
There's been a couple of changes. I mean, we got the shop over next door. We're actually going to be adding an alignment rack. We actually also added 2 loaner cars. So this is one of them. It's down right now, but probably going to fix it after we do this downpipe. And just gradually growing, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yep. So tell me about your post yesterday. I saw something about some dude coming from New York all the way to New Hampshire.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of our customers are seeing our like Instagram reels, Facebook, YouTube, and they like what we do. So we have people from New York. A guy drove all the way down to New York, came around like 10 o'clock in the morning. We pulled on his car, looked it all over, and needed a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, listen.
I saw the list. It was like 15, 20 stuff.
15, yeah. I mean, and that's the type of jobs we're doing. We're doing big stuff and preventative stuff. We took care of him. I bought him lunch, gave him some free goodies. He was out by 5 o'clock. He made it home by like 10 o'clock, and he messaged us saying this car is riding better than ever. But
so that's the type of service I'm talking about. But I'm glad he took care of them because it's my turn now. So today we're going to tackle the downpipe, but I want you to kind of talk through the process of like how you actually do it.
So how do we do the downpipe? So typically I start down low. We're going to be replacing, you're going to have to replace this exhaust clamp right here. It's kind of can be a pain if you don't know how to install it. So typically if you're in the New England area, this bolt will get rusty. So you'll have to cut this off and spread that off. But that's going to be underneath the car. So I typically start underneath. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to remove the air box. And then you're going to move a heat shield, and then it's pretty straightforward from there. A couple bolts and an extra clamp, and then the O2 sensors. Yeah. It's a pretty easy job, especially if you have a lift.
Yeah, because you guys know, I said all I have are jack stands. There's no way I'm getting under the car. Yeah. And like he said, I would never know that bolt would rust. Yeah. So I would have been like in some major if that's the case. So I'm glad that I'm having Mike do the job.
And this clamp is actually the clamp that's up here. Most of the time this bolt doesn't get seized, but sometimes it does, and then you would have to replace this clamp.
Yeah. Do you think that happens a lot just because that's the way it is, or because this is a New England car? I would say, or the higher the mileage, then it has issues like that?
I would say New England. Just because like I worked in Texas and Miami, the Mercedes dealers there, and we didn't ever really deal with that. But I will tell you, it doesn't matter if you're down south and there's no rust on this. It's very hard to reuse this clamp.
So it's always good to just swap it out.
Yeah, even guys at the dealer have trouble putting this on. Cool. I had trouble, but now I've done so many of them that I got it down to a T. So
awesome. Well, I'm glad you're working on the car. I'm gonna go grab some lunch, and then I will be back to pick up the car.
Sweet, let's do it.
So while Mike is working on the car, as soon as I get it back, I'm gonna do 2 more upgrades. I'm gonna upgrade to tornado tuning coil plugs. These are gonna allow for a hotter spark. And then I'm also gonna install these right here. These right here are connectors for the new coil plugs. These have a built-in capacitor to clean up the noise on the voltage line going to the coil plugs, which means the coil plugs will run at optimal performance. So I just got the car back from Mike. I drove it around. I didn't really push it hard just to make sure everything was working fine. There's no check engine light. Everything is good. Now I'm gonna install the new coil plugs and the new connectors. But before I do that, I'm dealing with electrical components, so it's really important that I first disconnect the negative side of the battery. Here are the coil plugs. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Each of these will have a connector on the side with a little gray tab. I just need to pick at the tab, push it down, and pull the connector off. And each of the coil plugs are held on by 2 Torx screws. Once I remove those screws, this will pull right out. And this is actually a really good time to change the spark plugs. Mike already did my spark plugs about 10,000 miles ago, so I'm good to go. So I'm just gonna swap out the plugs and install the brand new connectors. Okay, 1 down, 3 more to go. Okay, all set to go. What I learned was it was actually easier to take the 2 bolts off, pull the old coil plug off, and then disconnect it from the connector. That actually made things a lot easier. And this actually took me probably about 15 minutes to do, which was pretty fast. But now I gotta reconnect the battery and go for a drive. For the past 15 minutes, I've just been driving around in comfort mode just to make sure the car is driving perfectly fine, and there's no check engine light, there's no issues, no errors whatsoever. And what I noticed was in comfort mode, usually the car feels kind of sloppy and sluggish, but just driving around, I can feel there's already a difference in the car. I mean, it feels almost like it's a lot more solid. But now I'm gonna put it into sport mode, which should automatically increase the throttle response and hold the RPMs a lot higher, so I can really rev high and really push the car, and let's see what it can do. Okay, I just did a quick pull. So the car definitely feels a lot stronger, and what I notice is it shifts a lot quicker as well. So it's probably not the shifting that's quick, but also there's less turbo lag. So the turbo doesn't have to spool up as long, so it can quickly get on the gas again. With the exhaust, because of the high flow cat, I do hear a little difference in the sound of the exhaust, but it's not major. No issues whatsoever. No check engine light, no faults, nothing. The perks of living in New Hampshire, there's a lot of nice roads, a lot of twists and turns. Okay, I gotta chill. A little too happy right now. Okay, I need to pull over and kind of give you guys my overall feedback. So here are my thoughts. The upgraded high flow cat with the coil plugs, upgraded coil plugs, and the connectors definitely made a difference. I can definitely feel a difference in comfort mode and sport plus mode. So I upgraded to a high flow cat because I have another project coming soon that requires it. Well, it doesn't require it, but it definitely helps to have an upgraded high flow cat. But let's say if I didn't upgrade the cat, I would definitely upgrade to the higher performance coil plugs and those connectors. They definitely make a difference. So I'm really happy with the performance gains. Tornado Tuning killed it with these brand new mods. However, I plan on squeezing a little more horsepower and torque out of my C300. For you to find out, you're gonna have to stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.